This might be a familiar sight to some people, some of you who might recognize it. Some of you might even have one. This is what smoke alarms used to look like 40 years ago. Yeah, it should have been replaced about 30 years ago. But we just did it recently. Because it took to starting to sound at random intervals, and that just will not do, so that got removed. But it sparked a discussion. You know, how long has it been since we did all the others? There are 4 of them. There was that one, there's one downstairs, and there's 2 in the basement, one of which is a combination alarm. Now, the one that we put in to replace this, which we might see later on, well, we will see it later on, is a combination alarm as well. I've heard mixed things about these combination alarms. So I was talking with somebody who said that they're good for about 5 years. The new one that I'm about to show you is warranted for 7 years, and so too is the one that we just put in. And I was also reading an article that said, and I'm loosely quoting here, recent developments in the field allow combination alarms and standalone carbon monoxide detectors to last up to 10 years, but that was dated 2015. I've also heard that the new ones have built into them an end-of-life feature where it'll complain at you when it's exceeded its lifespan. So am I replacing it prematurely? Yeah, probably, but frankly, they cost about $60, if even that, and you cannot put a price on safety. So since I don't know, I'm going to take the cautious approach and replace it. Now, some of you are probably going to question that. Say, well, why aren't you doing the other one that you don't know the date on? Well, like I said, I can make rough estimates that it was put in at the same time. Since it's got a sticker on it that says 13 on it, I'm going to assume 2013, and tack on a couple of extra years of caution onto that and say, well, it's usually smoke alarms are good for about 10 years. I'm going to say this one's good for 7, and I'll replace it in 2 years from now. Problem solved. So, let's open up the new one, get that out of the way. You don't get a lot of options with these. You see, they got a lot of regular smoke alarms of different types, dual sensors, strobe, talking. What else do they have? Hardwired ones of different types. But if you want specifically one of these, which is what I need because that's what I'm replacing, well, this is the only option that you get. So, hopefully it's good. Printed on, that's interesting actually. It's embossed in English, but they have it printed on it in French. I guess they sell the same model in the US where they don't have this printing. I don't know, but anyway, you just have a quick look at it. It's a photoelectric. There are 2 types, photoelectric and ionization. This is an ionization alarm. The difference is in the type of particles that it can sense. I'm not going to get into any of the details because I don't think it really matters. The recommended practice is to have one of both on each level. Frankly, I don't care. That seems kind of excessive. In fact, they give you a recommended placement here. I think this seems kind of excessive. But maybe that's just me. So, in fact, I think that's even different than the one that was on the other alarm that we just put in. So, I don't know. But, recommended for hallways, stairwells, and high ceilings. All that stuff, maximum fewer pulse alarms, that's because of the photoelectric sensor. They say that it's for less nuisance alarms. In reality, it's because it only detects the larger particles from smoldering fires. I said I wasn't going to get into that, didn't I? Oh well, now I'm getting into it. The photoelectric is for the larger particles, while the ionization is for the smaller particles. And that's why they tell you to have both types, because they detect 2 different types of fires. I love how it says end-of-life warning at 10 there, and yet it recommends that you replace it after 7 years. I don't know. I suppose we'll find out. It's got a mute button. Does it actually have a mute, or is it the same thing as the test? Yeah, it's the same thing as the test button, which is slightly annoying. I don't really like that. I'd much prefer on the older ones, such as this, which, yes, I still have, because I use it as a shelf thing, pretty much, where they've got 2. The hush button and the test button. So much easier. You can't accidentally hush it when you're trying to test it. What else? Yeah, they tell you, basically what that's telling you to do is to put one of each right beside each other. Does that not sound ridiculous to you? I guess that's why the dual sensor ones exist. But they don't make dual sensor combination alarms, which is kind of annoying. Maybe they should do that. Might be a good idea. I think we're covered with this one at least anyway, because I think the other one that's sitting in the basement's an ionization. I'll have to double check that. Maybe I'll go relook at the video that I recorded when I put that in. But supposedly this doesn't need to be opened by cutting, so I'm going to try and open it without cutting it. Maybe not. I don't really like these packages, but that's just me. I'll put the camera down. I'll do it. Of course, how are you supposed to get it out of the package? That was kind of useless. How are you supposed to get it out? I don't get it. It looks like it would just come apart, but it doesn't seem to just come apart. And I'm really not understanding what the point of this thing at the back here was. Oh, I guess it's to get your manuals. So I'll get out the manuals, I guess. There's their instruction things. You know what? I'm cutting this package open. This is ridiculous. Wow. For something that's supposed to be a safety device, they sure make it more difficult than Fort Knox to get into that. I guess what they call that is safety against theft. Frankly, all that these blister packs do is make it difficult to open up the package when you actually get it. The reason why I didn't do it destructively is because there's actually printing on this that I would have liked to read. But there is a lot more printing than I thought. And I'm guessing that it's basically the same printing that they've got in this book. So, whatever. Oh, look at this. They give you these things as well. Guess you're supposed to stick these somewhere if this is in, say, oh, I don't know, a, like an apartment complex. Probably not an apartment complex, but a rental home, perhaps. But anyway, here's what you get. Not for retail sale, they're Duracell batteries. I don't know how I feel about that. I've had trouble with these Duracell things. But I'll use them, just because they'll sit around. Now my big question is whether or not this plate is the same plate as the plate that's already installed. I suppose we'll find out. I hope it is, because I'm really not envious of putting a new plate up. This thing feels like it's made out of tissue paper. I mean, really it does. It's flimsy feeling, like there's nothing to it at all. Almost like there isn't anything in it, period. I guess there's your alarm. What's this? This must be the light that it's got. Photoelectric. Of course. You know what's sad? The older versions that are a little bit taller actually have on the side a sticker where you can put the installation stuff, but this one does not. So I'm probably going to end up writing on it that it needs to be replaced in 7 years. Which is what, 2025? I don't know. We'll see. You can pause the video if you want or can read any of that. It's basically just your usual maintenance and testing stuff. Replace the batteries once a year. I wonder if anybody actually does that. Oh, I doubt it. I also see a plus and minus. I hope this one doesn't take 9 volts. And they give me double A's. Install battery and door prior to mounting. It's a BRK made in Mexico. Actually has a date on it, which is nice. Replace 7 years after installation. I think I'm going to put the details on it, and then I'll take it downstairs. We are here in the basement of doom and of darkness, because there's not a lot of light down here. What I'm replacing is installed right there, or was. I have it off the wall. Just a test, but unfortunately, yes, I can't reuse the existing plate. But these line up with the existing holes, so that's good. Okay, the new plate is in place. Go back over here. You see the old one. Again, Well, I'll stand corrected. It might have actually worked. No, it won't. The mountings are a little different. If we look at it, if I flip this around, it'll probably go off, because the batteries are still in it. Yeah, the mountings are different. You can see the date. Like I said, this is probably premature, but oh well. Now I'm going to put the batteries in this. Hopefully it will not go off. I appreciate that. If it didn't make any noise. Oh, yeah, and I put the dates on it. Probably should have written on the side 2025, but I didn't. Since you need to remove it from the wall to replace the batteries. Anyway, I'm sorry, remove it from the ceiling. Remove it from the mount in order to replace the batteries in the first place. You should be looking at that. Of course, nobody here ever replaces the batteries until they're told to. Not really good. But that's just the way it is. Okay, well I put the batteries on and got a very rude awakening. It didn't go off, but it did beep at me rather loudly. It does flash a green light, or at least it did once. I don't know how often the interval is. It's kind of crappy though that they don't give you a light like these ones, the other ones do. It was on. I don't know if it still is. There we go, yeah. So it doesn't have a very often interval. They don't give you lights like this one does. So, this one's probably going to go off as soon as I remove the batteries. But I won't do that until it's not down here. So, I have to install the battery door, then I'll put it up. There it is. Now, because I'm sure that somebody is sleeping in there, I'm not going to set it off. Well, I gotta make a correction. I don't know if I mentioned it at all. I think I might have, but I had said that they don't give you any mounting hardware, so you're on your own. Well, that's not true, because I just found the mounting hardware. Oops. I don't know if I'd use it, though. To be perfectly honest with you, these are Phillips blade screws. Those are crap. I'd get myself some good quality Robertson drives, which is what's in use right now. Although these little red things might actually be handy. I suppose you're probably limited to the screw that they give you if you use little red things. So, I don't know. Whether or not you use them is up to you, but I'd rather get better quality screws with a better quality screw drive on them than just Phillips. Because the Phillips ones tend to strip out very easily. Okay, gotta make this quick. Nobody's home. But I figured that while I was here, I would test all of these. Now, if you're going to do this yourself, do as I say, not as I do. Use hearing protection. These are loud. I can handle the noise. Most people can't. That one worked great. The cat is not thrilled. But that's alright. Probably should replace the batteries in these. I'm thinking about it. Make sure that all of these still work. That one works. Test the new one that nobody actually bothered to test when they installed it, which is kind of a no-no. You're supposed to do that. So if you were wondering what the new one is, well, there you go. It's a little high. I can't actually reach it because I'm short, but that's alright. That's loud. That must be that, what is that? That new, crap, what do they call it? The spread spectrum. Change their tone on that. Interesting. And of course, last but not least, this is the last one. That is fairly loud. Although I was expecting that it was going to be the new tone, I guess it's not. Oh well. that's it. Don't have anything else for you. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, definitely do feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. And I hope to see you next time. Till then, let's get the last one.